Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy. This is the Steel Will Resident. First off, I want to thank my buddy Josh, Journey Win Junk, for sending this little guy along. I'm getting a chance to play with it before it continues its grand journey in life over to Advanced Knife Bro, who, by the way, you should check out. He is another gear reviewer on the YouTubes and is a really entertaining guy. He does a lot of really high-quality editing, and his channel is absolutely worth a watch. He's one of, well, there aren't that many people, and by the way, I'm just going to start disassembling here. There's no problem. It's slightly off-center at the moment. The action is maybe, the detent is maybe a little strong. Those are the things I'm trying to pick out, but for the most part, I expect this to be pretty straightforward. But anyways, Knife Bro is a, advanced Knife Bro, that is. He's a guy that you should absolutely be keeping an eye on. He does interesting work. That puts a lot of editing in there, and I support him in that way. Are you free rotating? Yeah, you're free rotating, aren't you? Of course you're free rotating. Alrighty, let us get here a second T6 bit. Let's see if I can lock that down on this side. Here you go. You land here. Boom. There we go. That's weird. I have no idea what's going on right now. It's wanting to pop out this screw. I don't know. Okay, well, we're going to figure it out. Oh, Steel Will. But yeah, you know, it's kind of funny as a gear reviewer. Now we launch into the Nick Shabazz rants section of the video. As a gear reviewer, it's always, I have a weird relationship with other people's gear reviews. Because there are people whose stuff I will watch just as a matter of course. You know, Birdshot IV, I watch because they entertain the crowd. Holy, Loctite, bad man. This has got a lot of blue stuff on it. It's fine, I guess. But anyways, I will watch Birdshot IV, Frankie and the Bird, because they entertain me. Okay. That's weird. Whatever. Is what it is. I wonder if I can secure that. The heck? Oh, that's because they want to give you the clip carry option on the carbon fiber side. That makes sense. So they put this little bit of steel here that's anchored to the stop pin. In the same way, they've got this little bit of steel here that's anchored to this. Okay, that's fine. I can live with this. I can jive with that. Whoa. Half Teflon, half CF washes. And actually, it's reversed. That doesn't make any sense. So generally speaking, when you have a knife that's half carbon fiber, you will either have a secondary steel washer that's mounted inside the carbon fiber itself. So in the case of like a bearing knife, like a ZT452CF, very often you've got like a second steel washer on which the bearings rotate, because you don't want bearings running directly against carbon fiber. And similarly, on knives where half the knife is carbon fiber, a G10, a plastic, or something like that, they will usually have a Teflon washer riding against the carbon fiber. And the reason for that is that the Teflon is softer than the CF, and it won't damage it, and it won't over time lead to grooving and whatnot. And so what I'm kind of wondering is whether the person who assembled this guy at the factory doesn't quite conceptually get why they've got the two washer types and put them the wrong direction on, so to speak. They put it together such that the Teflon was facing the titanium side and the carbon fiber was facing the bronze was on the carbon fiber side. Is it a big deal? No, not particularly, but it is something that can cause some troubles. And I bet the action will be a little better after this. So I'm just cleaning things off in here, and then we can see here that otherwise construction's not that interesting. Got ourselves a lock bar insert here. Looks fine. Well done. Over travel stop. It's one of those things that I never mention anymore. Like if a knife has an over travel stop, it's just like they all kind of do now. A little thumb disc sort of thing. Looks like it's removable, but the knife isn't deployable without it, so that's just not great. But that is what that is. Does this pop out? Yeah, this pops out. And so, yeah, I'm thinking that might have just gotten reversed at some point, either post disassembly. I don't know the history of this guy. or it just got swapped at the factory. Not a big deal, but it's a deal. It's something I do sort of have enough confidence to change here. That's not generally the way things are done otherwise. This washer is really poorly ground. It's like somebody attacked the side of it with an angle grinder. Probably what happened, actually, is that they didn't have a washer that was thin enough on this dimension. The outer diameter was too big, so they just tried to knock it down. Something. It happens. Not a big deal. Alrighty, let's start with the reassembly process here. I'm going to go ahead and put the pivot in place here, and I'm going to use some 10-weight nano oil here. Because this does have a nice action, and that's what I'm going to use to lubricate. If you're ever curious about the tools I'm using for my disassemblies, go ahead and check out my knife disassembly toolkit video. That will give you details about all of it. All right, now I'm going to drop the phosphor bronze washer down onto the metal, which is, like I said, the way that life normally works. Now I'm going to put a little bit of oil onto the detent ball path. This is kind of why I suspect there's quite the burr on the inside of the detent ball hole. Wow, that's burry. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can show this off here. Look at the inside of the detent ball hole. There is a little raised lip of burr on here that is... It's weird. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know. I'm not a machinist. I'd like to understand more, but it doesn't look like a lot. It doesn't look like it was drilled at some level. I don't know. Machinists watching, let me know what the heck went on there. But anyways, I'm hoping that the lack of lubrication is why the detent is just a little hard there. Not a big deal, but it's something. Now what we're gonna do is we're actually just gonna go ahead and put the put this little guy right around the blade and drop it in that way. I could try and work both, independently, but this seems like the safer bet. Just that way, everything kind of goes together in one cohesive chunk. This will make my life a little more difficult in that I have to kind of manage the stop pin as I'm doing the disassembly there, but you know what? It's okay. And then, does this guy need to go underneath? Oh, no. Okay, it works. Put a little lubrication here, a little here, bam, case closed. That there, bam, case closed. Actually, I don't know why I'm lubricating the side against the carbon fiber. It doesn't matter anyways. All right, looks like we're good to go. What I'm going to go ahead and do here is try and snap everything back together here. I may need to loosen the blade a little bit to get things back into alignment. There we go. This guy is still not wanting to align in the back here. That may be the case of I just need to tighten it with the screw, because the screw stayed in there and whatnot. There we go. And we're tightening a little bit. There we go. That's tightened. All right, great. So that one's there. Now let's go ahead and put these guys in. I'm going to use a little blue Loctite here. Just a little. Not too much. Then the next step is going to be to clean out the pivot. Anyways, the thing I've kept... Oh, I'm sorry. I've been on Zoom mode for a while there. I'm sure you guys lost some things. My bad. Hashtag not a brilliant man, nevertheless. But what I've been trying to say for a little while here is the watch another reviewers thing. It's a little weird for me because at some level I want to maintain a little bit of independence. I don't want to just recapitulate somebody else's reviews, especially if it's something I haven't reviewed yet. That said, I will occasionally, if there's something where I feel, oh, that's much smoother that way, yeah. Although part of that's probably because the pivot isn't fully tight yet. But anyways, part of that is just because if I'm really struggling, if I'm handling something that everybody else loves and I don't get at all, in those cases, I will sometimes watch other people's reviews because then I'm checking myself. I'm feeling like, and I'm going to clean off this. Well, I'm going to try and clean off the Loctite, but in practice, I'm going to throw this freaking thing under the table, which... Yeah, that's cool. Anyways, now I'm going to clean off the Loctite here. But then I'm kind of using it as sort of a sanity check to see what I am missing when somebody else, and I'll do that especially with a knife that I know I am not primed to get, so to speak. You know, a knife that's crazy, tactical, absolutely huge, tacular, etc. That's sometimes when I will take a look at somebody else's stuff, and maybe it'll give me a better understanding and appreciation for it, maybe from a different perspective, or maybe I'll just look at it and go like, yep, that's not for me, and move on with my life. Did I really just freaking throw that again? Guys, it's a good thing you don't need to be a brilliant man to disassemble this knife, because otherwise, I'd be freaking hosed. But yeah, so anyways, there are relatively few reviewers that I just watch on a regular basis. As a result, I mean, maybe if something really interesting comes out that I'm contemplating getting in, but I'm not sure if I'm interested or not. But Knife Bro, he's one of them. I like his stuff a lot. He puts me to shame on the editing front. And, you know, he's got a nice dry sense of humor. Seems a little sad sometimes, but that's okay. The world is a little bit of a sad place sometimes. Okay, centering is now dead on. Okay, got a little bit of blade play. So let's tighten this down a little smidge more. It was a imperial smidge rather than a metric smidge. Still a little playing. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Or in this case, hate the pivot tension. Tight, like a tiger. And dead center. Yeah, so that was the issue here. Somebody, whether it was the factory, and by the way, no, this can't front flip. It's not smooth enough. But somebody either at the factory or in this knife's long history has had put this back together with the washers on the wrong side, with the Teflon against the steel and the steel against and the phosphor bronze against carbon fiber. It's a recipe for long-term wear issues, and apparently it's not the way it was intended to be made. And so when we rectified that, the action not only got a little better, the detent is now, by the way, a little nicer as well, with that lubrication in place. But, and now it is fully centered and actually good to go. So that was actually a pretty smooth disassembly. Aside from trying to say the same thing 10 different times and then getting distracted by weird stuff in the knife, whatever. That's what it is. Anyways, I hope this has been interesting to you. Go ahead and check out Knife Bro. That's a completely weird and beside the point thing to take away from this disassembly. But, yeah, and I'm going to go carry this guy a little bit, and I'll give you some impressions here. There we go. Not like impressions of celebrities. Although I do a pretty good Gilbert Gottfried, apparently. Anyways, hope this has been interesting. Have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.